taken down from Islam Makhachev, and that's what we saw happen. Islam took him down in the first round, got on top of him, looked for some rear naked chokes and stuff like that, but not too much action, not too much ground and pound. Second round, like wobbled him with a head kick, beautiful shot, and then got some takedowns again. And that was pretty much, you know, the biggest action throughout the fight. Now, he controlled him throughout 4 rounds, and as the fight went on longer and longer, it seemed like Islam started to get more tired. You know, the pace and the size of Ian Garry, and fair play to Ian Garry, he'd done his homework. The takedown defense was on point, right? It was the way that he was shuffling and scooting to the fence and standing up, and Islam was shooting him with his head on the outside, and sometimes his left arm would get buried. That was
number 1 in the world, goes out there, beats Ian Garry. It was a close fight. Ian made that a hell of a fight. Ian Garry should be up there in the pound for pound list. He is actually insanely. That cardio he had, he wrestled really well. He looked good. He didn't get the job done. I don't think his stock goes anywhere. I think his next fight's going to be bigger than ever. Who's next for Islam Makhachev? We got Michael Morales and Carlos Prates. Michael Morales he's huge. So is Carlos. They're both huge dudes. Morales is coming off a victory over Sean Brady, Gilbert Burns, Neil Magny. Gilbert Burns, I think, was on a pretty bad losing streak, a little bit older. Neil Magny, also a little bit older. KO. His last 3 fights were KOs. So I'm curious, what do you guys want to see? Would you guys want to see Michael Morales? I think Carlos Prates has a little bit more hype behind him. Let me pull up his last 3 fights. Carlos Prates is ranked number 1. I did not know that. His last 3 fights, KO'd Jack Maddalena, KO'd Leon Edwards, KO'd Jeff.
This time, Islam Makhachev defeating Ian Garry. Now, this fight was absolutely amazing. I loved it. You know, a lot of people saying that, you know, Islam only threw so many strikes, but at the end of the day, he's fighting a bigger guy and it takes 2 to dance. Ian Garry has a specific style that he goes about. You look at his last fights, he has to finish everybody in five fights at the highest level. So, but we're gonna break this down. So make sure you guys like, subscribe. Also, hit that bell to know when we go live. And let's get into it. I got the epic pin ready to go to break this down for you. There's a lot of things that Islam did right, and you know, I was
activate back. Oh! Man, they've done it again. Even in a fight where Ian looked great, Islam is still able to look like the best in the world.
Yeah, Ramadan is in February next year. I know you'd like to avoid, you know, having a fight lined up for that. Are you looking to be able to fight 2 times next year after Ramadan?
Bro, we have to fight before Ramadan, 100%.
Before Ramadan, okay. So you're shooting for January.
Of course. January, end of the year, I have to fight.
Even the end of this year?
Yeah, because I'm not like 20-somethings. I'm 34 years old, and I have to fight soon as possible because I'm not cut much weight. I don't have like any big injuries, just have to maybe double check my nose. That's it. And before this fight also, I give my approval to fight in White House. It's long story why I'm not there, but I told beginning of the summer, I want to fight. I call Ali, I call everybody, I want to fight. But it's not something I chose and I make, you know.
Well, what is the long story?
Because Ali called me and say, hey, you want to fight White House with Ilya Tapuria? I say yes, and I'm never asked. They offer me good money, and next day Ali say it's not happen. And I don't know. Just see what his manager said. He said we offer the fight, we ask some money, they don't give us. That's why we chose. Maybe Ali know all story.
Bigger. How much do you feel like the size at 170 pounds has kind of made things a little more even between you and opponents?
Honestly, I don't know. I feel he a little bit, maybe a couple kg, he bigger than me in this fight. And I think in first fight in welterweight, because I focus on that, I not feel, I know I was bigger than this time, you know. But this is I think the things which one we have to still thinking what to do, how to gain some more weight to become bigger, you know. But I don't want to go back to lightweight because I told you I enjoy every second with my team, with my friends on this camp, because when you people who never cut like some like 15 pounds, they never understand how it's hard.
It seems like between every round, Ian was saying something to you, kind of trying to give you a hug, touching you on the head. Beginning of the 5th round, he high-fived you. Dana White said he hates that. He wish you guys would just...
Bro, honestly, I don't understand, man. This is the fight. This is not something we have to like hug each other every round, We're going to war to broke the face, to broke the eye, That's why I respect all my opponents, but Jan, I don't know. He respect too much.
What did he say to you after the fight? Because it looked like he came and
He
chatted
just
with
said, I fight today with the greatest fighter. Yeah, I respect him, He's a good guy, very kind, But this is the war, Look my face. I just come to beat everybody. It's not some things you have to play. This is fight. This is not game.
I felt like tonight was set up for the upset. I felt like the upset could happen tonight with so much on the line, all the records that Islam has, and he's going to break Anderson Silva's record. There's weight classes for a reason. Ian Garry is a big, rangy, strong guy who has great takedown defense. I mean, if you look at his takedown defense tonight against Islam, it was impressive. I felt like, I think that Ian is a talented guy. If he had even an ounce of killer instinct in that 5th round, he had been beating him to the body. Islam's whole, I think, right side was beat up. His face was beat up. You don't come out and hug and shake hands in the fight. That shit drives me fucking crazy when there's so much at stake. And there's also a lot of mental gamesmanship, whatever you want to call it in this game. You come out in that 5th round with a flying knee or something crazy and you try to finish the fight. I think that this is one of those fights that Ian will go back and watch and say, fuck, wish I could do that over again. And, if he came out and tried to destroy and win that last round, with everything that he had, I think it's a totally different fight. And then he gives Islam that explosive, he exploded up and got his back. And once he took his back and put the hooks in, that was a wrap. He's going to ride that out till the round ends. That's how I felt. But on the Islam side, Islam went out, it's the complete opposite now. Against a bigger, strong, rangy guy who has good takedown defense, controlled him, shut him down. I don't know if he was in his head, and Ian felt like he had to come out and shake hands in the 5th round or whatever, but, Islam did exactly what he needed to do to win that.
Islam Makhachev did it once more, although in this case, not only his name was added to his achievements, but something even greater happened. As he managed to survive a difficult 5-round fight against Ian Machado Garry, the welterweight champion shared his winning strategy, the surprises he faced during the match, and his ideas about the things he still needs to work on. However, it seems that the most interesting thing that can happen next is going to be his future plans. Islam has already began thinking about them because there are still new challenges ahead of him. Now, the reactions to his win have begun.
There's like videos of Carlos Prates and Michael Morales backstage arguing about who should get the title shot against you next, and they both want it. They both think they deserve it. How do you feel?
I don't know who I want to choose, no matter who is them. Maybe let them fight. Why they not fight in this card to see who is the #1 contender, But it's okay. I'm happy we have some real contenders in this division. And these guys, Morales, Prates, Shavkat, they make me like training every day more hard. But because I say this is the real fighters who can give me good fights.
Islam, front.
All week, the story had been asking you if he's your toughest opponent. Now that you've shared the cage with him for 5 rounds, was he your toughest opponent? And if not, where do you rank him?
Oh, maybe top 3, bro. But the Australian fight, it's crazy. With Volkanovski first fight, he gave me a hard fight, bro. This guy is dog. He go forward every second, he don't stop. And that time I remember we have very hard time, and all arena support him, and like even if he miss punch, the all arena go like crazy, But It's one also, it's hard. Some of them, when you won before, like by first round, you not grow. But 5 rounds, you give your like many years, You guys don't understand, because when you finish someone from the by first, second, it's you not grow. But the second, the minutes inside the cage, it's some things which one like give you more like experience. This is the number one things. You never gonna find somewhere experience like that, just inside the cage when you have hard time.
I didn't get a lot of things about Ian Garry psychologically. I didn't get the pep talk, the 2 in-ring pep talks during the fight that he gave Islam. I didn't get it. But I can't give Ian Garry a hard time. He fought really well. He was very controlled. He was very patient. Both guys, I got to give Islam that same compliment. I mean, they stood there across from each other, just sizing each other up. But that was a game of flinch, if you will. Hey, Islam, come get me so I can knee you in the face. Hey, Garry, come get me so I can catch something and tackle you. Because of that, though, because of some of those stalemates, it preserved energy. And if you preserve energy with Ian Garry, you're allowing him to preserve power. Now, let's talk Islam. Very, very impressive how he can stay composed. Very impressive that things that would generally frustrate somebody, Islam can deal with, because he does get frustrated. But he deals with it. In every upset you've ever seen, in every sport you've ever seen an upset in, the same component, which is the athlete who's upset, finds himself in a contest harder than he thought it was going to be. He has less energy with more time on the clock than he thought he would have. And he starts to unravel. And there was moments that could bring a normal athlete real frustration, but Islam just dealt with it. That was the fight. You'll hear fighters say all the time, my biggest opponent is myself, but it's largely what I'm talking about right now. Can you just overcome? Can you just stay in the moment? Can you just go 1 more minute, 1 more exchange? We can give up, but let's not give up this round. We'll do that next round and just keep telling yourself until the fight's over. And Islam really did that well. I spoke to Daniel Cormier a moment ago, and Daniel is a big Islam believer and supporter. They were teammates, and I think consider themselves teammates to this day. And Daniel said, Chael, I'm not sure that the public is aware of the pressure that Islam was under.
And Islam's interpretation of the meaning of the fight night further added to the victory. Though he thought he had done enough for the first rounds to win, his team, which included Khabib Nurmagomedov, told him to end the bout in style. Islam was convinced he had enough left in him to do something big at the end of the fight, and he would listen to their advice by flooring Garry. He also went back to what happened during the head kick in the second round, explaining that he had gone after finishing Garry, which he almost did. The bout also left Makhachev with some scars from the night's exertion. The fighter explained that during the late part of the fourth round, he got hit hard in the head by Garry, and his nose began bleeding, making him doubt that it was broken. But the fighter did not get stuck on this, stating that hard battles make him progress. According to him, he needs to grow in strength at welterweight. Thus, with time on his side, he will continue developing. However, the most important thing that the bout reaffirmed about the fighter is that despite all difficulties, he is willing to go through the whole fight minute by minute. But not only did Makhachev celebrate his individual triumph, the champion recognized that it was more than just another personal success story. Not emphasizing the significance of the milestone, Makhachev talked about the power of their whole camp and the tradition created by Abdulmanap Nurmagomedov. According to Islam, the gym keeps producing top-class fighters as there are some of its members who are preparing for their upcoming fights. For Makhachev, the tradition of the group is not finished yet and will live further on. This confidence about his training was also clear when Makhachev talked about the repeated kicks from Garry to his knee. Islam revealed that his camp was well trained on how to deal with such techniques because they had the possibility of injuring him. But he revealed that these kicks did not bother him in the fight, while those by Garry also did no harm to him. There was a single kick from Garry which caught him close to his eye, but he remained unaffected and went on fighting. The challenging aspect was to fight a person who kept his distance. However, the compliments he received on the night of his victory were not restricted to his own camp alone. Dana White emphasized just how remarkable the feat was. White mentioned that with this feat, Islam's winning streak of 17 fights had outstripped that of Anderson Silva, which had remained unbeaten for over a decade. In addition, he went on to say that Islam would set another record, one which could be unbeaten for a very long time to come if he kept up like this. However, what made this achievement all the more commendable was the opponent Islam faced. While Makhachev himself is already planning his next step, White hinted at another upcoming opponent being an even bigger challenge for Makhachev. Since both Carlos Prates and Michael Morales are now in the mix, it is evident from White's comments that the UFC will take its time and think carefully about which fighter gets the opportunity to face Makhachev next. While Prate stated that he was promised the title shot, Morales was meant to be the backup, yet White hopes not to rush in making a choice. Even in jest, he told Morales not to storm the ring because it would be better if all let Islam celebrate first. Where many praised Makhachev's performance, MMA Guru had a very different assessment of how the fight unfolded. He argued that Islam's early success came from using inside low kicks to set up his takedowns before controlling Garry with a body lock for much of the opening round. In his view, Garry spent too much time accepting that position instead of aggressively attacking Islam's grip and creating separation. MMA Guru pointed to the third round as evidence, noting that once Garry began using his elbows and fighting the forearm, the contest became more competitive. He believes Garry needed that adjustment much earlier. MMA Guru continued to question how much damage Makhachev actually inflicted, pointing out that the champion recorded very few significant strikes despite controlling large portions of the fight. He argued that Islam's decision to take Garry's back and hold the position was crucial, especially because he believed Islam needed that control to secure the victory. But entering the fifth round, he felt the momentum looked different, with Garry appearing fresh and confident while Islam showed more visible wear. In his view, Garry should have attacked immediately instead of exchanging pleasantries, because he believed the Irishman missed opportunities to put Islam under serious pressure. Then Chael Sonnen offered a more measured reaction to the fight, admitting that some of Garry's psychological tactics left him confused. He questioned the two moments when Garry appeared to encourage Makhachev to engage, saying he did not fully understand the strategy behind them. Still, Sonnen gave Garry credit for fighting with control and patience, while praising Islam for showing the same discipline. He described the long stretches of both men waiting for the other to make the first move as a strategic battle of reactions. However, Sonnen warned that those stalemates also preserved Garry's energy and allowed him to maintain his power deep into the fight. And Sonnen was equally impressed by Makhachev's ability to stay composed when the fight did not go exactly as planned. He pointed out that Islam, like any fighter, can become frustrated, but what separates him is how well he manages those emotions under pressure. According to Sonnen, difficult fights often cause athletes to unravel when they realize they have less energy and more time left than expected. Islam, however, never allowed those moments to break his focus. Even when the fight became more demanding than expected, he remained disciplined and composed, and Sonnen believed that mental strength was one of the defining factors of the performance. So, what do you make of Islam Makhachev's victory and his plans for what comes next? Do you think he can continue this incredible run and build an even greater legacy at welterweight? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more UFC updates, reactions, and fight breakdowns.